Today I'm going to share with you one of the most common causes behind shoulder pain and dysfunction, and then I'm going to show you a really simple technique that you can use to fix it. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's Blake Bowman here with Gorilla Zen Fitness, and in today's video what I'm going to be going over is the #1 culprit behind the development of shoulder pain, injury, and dysfunction. Now, that culprit is known as something as poor joint centration. Now, joint centration in the most basic sense of that term just refers to the alignment of the shoulder joint. More specifically though, joint centration has to do with the length of the muscle tissue, okay, like the pecs, that surround the joint and attach onto it. This is important to realize because since muscles attach onto joints, they can exert pull on the joint in certain directions, okay? Oftentimes with the shoulder, people have too much tension here, right, which is exerting too much forwards pull on the shoulder. They don't have enough tension in their upper back because they're weak there, and as a result of that, their shoulder joint alignment falls into, misalignment. Now, it's important to understand why alignment is important, right? And the reason for that is our bodies, human bodies, are very similar to any kind of complex machinery, like a car, for example, right? There's an optimal way for all of the moving parts to align in order for the machine as a whole to function properly. And if there's a misalignment, mechanical forces of the body are going to act adversely on the component parts of the system, which in the case of the human body are the joints, and that's going to lead to premature breakdown, okay? Just like if you had a car with misaligned tires and you decided to drive that car across the country, eventually something's going to break as a result of the misalignment, right? It's just a mechanical misalignment. The car was not designed to function that way, and our body is the same way. If you have misalignments and you're active with those misalignments, they will lead to injury, okay? And this is actually even worse in athletes. The more active you are with these things, the worse they become. Now, what you're looking at here is a little slide from my friend Dr. Ryan DeBell's workshop, The Movement Fix. And basically what the picture is showing is what typical faulty joint centration looks like in the shoulder. Okay, so oftentimes the PEC Minor, which is in the front there, which is the chest muscle, is too short and tight relative to the upper back muscles. Okay, like I said earlier, I was kind of describing this. When this happens, when this muscle imbalance is present, the arm bone is going to fall forward out of position. Now, to see what this looks like in real life, it's pretty simple, right? This is good joint alignment. This is faulty joint alignment or centration. They're basically the same thing, right? So good, poor, good, poor, and this poor type of alignment is very, very common. Now, before I show you how to fix this and improve this, just realize that this is probably the #1 biggest cause behind the development of shoulder injuries, right? If you can't relate your shoulder injury to some sort of like trauma, like if you were playing football and somebody like tackled you and you jacked your shoulder up, that's different, okay? But if you just have, rotator cuff problems, or your shoulder just starts hurting, or you start to develop impingement syndrome, and this is kind of like a slowly, a gradual thing that slowly develops, then it's likely due to, or at least related to, your joint centration. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to release the PEC Minor, which is, like I said, one of those most tight muscles that contributes to the misalignment of the shoulder joint, okay? And it's like right here, basically attaches up here, and it runs down vertically like this, okay? It's kind of weird. It's underneath your more meaty chest muscle, the PEC Major. This is a tiny muscle that runs underneath that and is more vertical in its orientation. It's called the PEC Minor. Essentially, by releasing this thing, we're going to be getting rid of all the pull that it's exerting on the front of the shoulder, okay? So we're going to get rid of that so that you have an easier time allowing your shoulder to go back into the joint socket and be properly centrated. So it's quite simple to basically release this. You just have to know where it is. So if you don't know where it is anatomically, then Google search it. But one way that I like to do it is honestly just with my hand, right? So you want to come in from the side here like this, kind of try to get underneath your PEC Major, which is this meatier muscle, and then come underneath and just start pressing down on it, right? And digging down like this. Sometimes raising up your arm like this makes it easier to access, but you just want to know that it's vertical in its orientation. You want to start up where it attaches in the shoulder, and then work your way down like this, okay? it's going to feel like you're kind of rubbing on your ribs, but you'll feel like a meaty tissue on top of the ribs underneath the PEC major. That's what you're looking for, okay? So that's one way to do it. You can really dig in there with your hands for, 30 seconds. Now, another way to do that is to use a ball like a, lacrosse ball or even a foam roller or something like that. All right, so ideally you want to use a softball for this. I forgot to bring mine to my studio here today, but I'm going to show you basically how to do it with a medicine ball. Okay, this will work too. A softball is preferable. I just don't have one here. But before I show you this too, I want you to know that there's another way that you can release the PEC minor, and this is probably the most effective way, and it's using a tool called a TheraCane. Okay. And I made a video about this in the past. I'll include it in the description down beneath this video, so make sure you check that out, okay? If you don't have a TheraCane, then don't watch that video. But if you do have one, it's like a green hook device for like self-massage. That can be tremendously powerful for releasing the PEC minor, okay? But if all you have is like a softball or something like that, then this is a good technique as well, okay? But this one kind of will smash into the PEC major and minor at the same time. It's really hard to isolate the PEC minor. But again, knowing where the PEC minor is here, all you simply need to do to release it is put, the ball down like this. You want to basically put your chest on it, cross that arm behind the back, and then you just want to roll up and down on that PEC minor, just like this, until you feel a release in the muscle, okay? And that's probably going to happen after about 30 seconds or so, okay? So that's basically it. Another way that you could do this is you can literally just get a ball, like a lacrosse ball or something like that, something smaller, and you can literally just rub it in the PEC like this just to stimulate the muscle fibers in there so that they shut down, okay? This is kind of awkward with this big medicine ball, but you get the idea here of what I'm trying to show you. Now, another thing I want you to think about with regards to that PEC minor is why it becomes tight in the first place, right? Because you can always release it, but if you're not addressing those causative factors that are causing it to be tight in the first place, then you're going to have to constantly be releasing it, okay? So two of the most common ways that it can become short and tight is one, from overtraining the chest, okay? If you're doing like a lot of bodybuilding stuff and you're just hitting your chest a lot, that can just cause this muscle to become overactive, short and tight, okay? So that's one way that it commonly becomes short and tight. Another way is just by being in slouched positions all the time, right? If you're hanging out in this position, that muscle is going to adapt to that position of your shoulders, and it's basically going to kind of cement itself and freeze there. Now, one of the lesser known causes, okay, this is the third most common cause of tightness in the PEC minor, is faulty breathing patterns, okay? So if you don't know how to breathe using your diaphragm and you're taking these kind of short little chest breaths all the time, hundreds of times a day, you're going to be causing tightness to develop in the PEC minor, okay? That's a totally different subject for a different video, but what I've done is I've already made videos about that, and I've included them in the description down beneath this video so that you can check them out, and make sure you do that, okay? If you don't know why your PEC minor is tight because you're not overtraining it and you're not slouching, but it seems that it's always staying tight and you just don't know why, it probably is due to your breathing patterns, so make sure you look into those videos. Lastly, recently I put together a shoulder joint centration workout that's absolutely free to you. This little joint centration workout that I put together synergizes very well with the addressing of the PEC minor, which we did today, and it's really good for those of you that are looking to improve your joint centration. Basically, to get that free guide, all that I want you to do is click the first link down available in the description box below, or if you're watching this on computer, you can click this button right here, and what that will do is it'll take you to my website where I'll ask you for your email. As soon as you enter in your email, I'll send you that workout right away. Now keep in mind, this won't work if you're watching on mobile. You'll have to open up the description down below and click the link down there. On a concluding note, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do that over here. I'm uploading on here 3 times weekly now, putting out a lot of content, a lot of stuff like this, so make sure you subscribe. And also, if you want to hear me talk about anything specifically that you can't find in any of my past videos, then leave me a comment down below after you've liked this video and let me know what you want to see. That's it for today. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you next time.